too. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Very thankful that I'm here in the month of January in the year 2019. And very thankful that we are here to provide the information that is so well needed in our community. You started last month and it was a blessing. How was your new year?
My new year, it's been good so far. On a personal note, unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away right before Christmas. So, we dealt with that. But, this too shall pass. It's a difficult time, but we have to keep moving and be thankful for the time that we did have with her and cherish all the memories.
Absolutely. So I'm so thankful that you're doing well and you're able to join me on our platform Inside the Zone with Lady D. Good evening to everyone who is popping up on the Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, we started planning with Sheila last month, and the program going forward is aired on the first Thursday in every month. Today being a new year, a new month in a new year, January 3rd, Sheila is back with a very, very interesting topic, interesting to the point where people are sometimes a little, uncertain as to what do I do? Do I need to undertake this kind of thing? How much work am I going to have to put in? Am I going to be saddled with somebody's challenges in life if they fall ill, etc., So we want to address all of that this evening. And I'd like you to go ahead as always and say hello to our listening and viewing audience.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year to you all. As Lady D mentioned, my name is Sheila Samuel. I am the principal attorney of the Samuels Law Firm, and we have offices in New York and New Jersey. Our New York office is located in Mount Vernon at 11 West Prospect Avenue on the 3rd floor, and we're right across from the courthouse and City Hall. And we also have an office in Northern New Jersey. At the Samuels Law Firm, we focus on estate planning and administration, guardianship, elder law, and long-term care planning, as well as education law and special needs planning. And, our goal really is to help individuals and families create a comprehensive estate plan so that they can avoid the overwhelming and crushing cost of long-term care, while protecting assets and preserving assets for future generations. And so it's very important to us at the Samuels Law Firm that we get this vital information out to the community about the importance of having an estate plan and creating a comprehensive one, particularly this time of the year. I find with the new year, a lot of people are usually interested in finally getting their estate plan in order, because again, it's the new year, it's time to set new goals and really carry them out.
Absolutely. Now, last month, we kicked it off, and there were persons who were listening, and, they wanted you to kind of delve into a little bit more about the power of attorney, and which is exactly what you have decided to present this evening. And of course, we want to remind everyone that the show is brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. Stop by, place your order, give them a call, 718-324-7484. And by the way, Sheila, I'd just like you to know that Maureen says hello.
Oh, please tell her I said hello and Happy New Year.
Yes, she's listening as a matter of fact. So once she heard me.
Hello, Maureen.
So she can say hello back. So go right ahead. Let's start talking.
Okay, sure. So the last time I was on in December, we talked about 5 essential documents that are crucial to an estate plan. And those documents included a durable power of attorney, a healthcare proxy, living will, last will and testament, and a trust. And last time I started to talk very generally about each one of these documents, and so I thought this month would be a great time to just discuss a little bit more about the power of attorney. When we talk about a power of attorney, some people might say, well, what is that? What's the purpose of the power of attorney? And I just want to discuss that briefly. So, a power of attorney is really a contract. And it's a contract between the principal, who is the person that is allowing someone called the agent to act on their behalf, mainly with respect to their financial affairs, as well as real estate. And again, a comprehensive power of attorney can do many different things, but it's typically in the area of financial affairs, real estate. We use it for public benefits planning, and so forth. Okay. And with the comprehensive power of attorney, the agent is basically stepping into the shoes of the principal. And so they can do banking transactions on their behalf. They can contact, if there's real estate, they would be able to contact a lender. If there's a lender with respect to the property, yes, they would be able to transfer property from the principal to themselves or to someone else. It's really something where you would have to be certain that the person whom you're giving this broad power and authority to is going to act in your best interest. And so, because of the powers that can be granted under a power of attorney, there may be some times or instances where there's been some financial abuse that has taken place, especially if we're dealing with the senior population. But for the most part, I have not seen that with the powers of attorney that I have prepared. Again, I often tell my clients that, you really have to sit back and think about who you think you can trust to this extent. Yes. Who do you think would have your best, your best intentions in mind? Because I think if you look at it from that perspective, there may be a lower chance of some type of financial abuse or mismanagement, right? And so, with the power of attorney, there can be many benefits. We refer to it as a durable power of attorney because it's designed so that it would remain in effect even when the principal becomes disabled or develops some type of incapacity. So that's the first thing that we're always looking at, making sure that this is the type of power of attorney that can be used even if our principal does become disabled. The other consideration that some of my clients have is, well, do I want this power of attorney to go into effect now, or do I want it to go into effect in the future? Okay. And that is what we would call a springing power of attorney. Okay. A springing power of attorney would go into effect upon I'm sorry, it's really easy. I apologize. I was a bit distracted by someone. Okay. A springing power of attorney would go into effect in the future upon the occurrence of our principal becoming disabled. And it would require a doctor to actually say that our principal is disabled and unable to handle their affairs. Okay. And so oftentimes we discourage that type of power of attorney because doctors don't always like to be involved in making that determination. And so again, it goes back to the principal selecting someone who they know has their best wishes in mind. Yes. And who they know they can really trust with this type of power. And so most of the times we're going to create a power of attorney that goes into effect immediately. Doesn't mean that the principal no longer has control and authority to manage their assets and their affairs. It just means you have given authority to someone else who can also do that for you. And as long as the principal is not disabled, they can hold on to these documents and they don't have to, even provide them to the agent until, as they age or they choose to disclose it, when they are ready to do so.
Okay.
So there, it's better, it's more flexible to just have the one that goes into effect immediately.
Now, have you ever had a situation where the principal predetermines who they would like to act on their behalf, but perhaps family members are not in agreement?
Yes. Unfortunately, we see that quite a bit. Most of the times, my clients will come to me because a child or their children realize that mom or dad, they're aging, or maybe one of the parents has passed away. And so they say, well, now is a good time for us to also consider doing some planning on behalf of the surviving parent. And, it's something where all of the siblings will come in. And I always tell them that I need to meet with mom or dad alone to see what they want to do. But that's fine that you are the ones that contacted me, but mom or dad, they are my client, and I have to meet with them to ascertain what their intentions are. And there are times that mom and dad, they may not want to name any of the children because they're trying to avoid a conflict. And there are times when mom and dad just want to name one particular child, and that can also cause a conflict. In December, we actually did a newsletter about that. What to do if you're the child and you've been named the agent under a power of attorney and your siblings have not been named, because that does cause conflict. But ultimately, it comes back to what is it that the parent wants to do. So long as the parent has the necessary capacity and there doesn't appear to be any undue influence from, that child who they're appointing or someone else, I think we have to go with what the parent wants.
Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Sheila Samuel. She's an attorney at law, and we're talking about the power of attorney this evening. And I know that there are persons out there who they always think that they have some time to take care of certain things. We procrastinate a lot.
Yeah.
And
then
it happens. And before you know it, we find ourselves into some really serious problems.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that more and more. I had a particular situation where a power of attorney was prepared. It wasn't prepared by my office, but it was prepared by another attorney. And unfortunately, a successor agent was not named. It was only one child named, and that child predeceased his mother while they were away on vacation. And mom ended up being diagnosed with Alzheimer's and was unable to sign another power of attorney. And so we had to actually go to court to obtain guardianship over her, and time was of the essence with that, and unfortunately, she passed away. And so we see that quite a bit. I even have a situation that happened just the other day where one of my clients, I actually did prepare a power of attorney and held for proxy for his mother, and at the time, his mother was not ready to do her last will and testament. And we were about to meet in November to actually create it. And unfortunately, she passed away a few days before the meeting. And she wanted one particular child to inherit her house. And now, because she died without a will, it's going to pass under the intestacy laws of New York State, which means all of her children are going to take in her estate. And this house is the main asset in her estate. And now the children are already arguing over, should the house be sold, should we keep it, and so forth. And so, people do tend to think that time is on their side.
Yes.
And they procrastinate with creating their estate plan. And we get that and we understand it, Lady D, because no one likes to think about death or the end of life. But, the good thing about being proactive, and this is certainly one of the benefits of having a comprehensive power of attorney, is that it gives the testator or the principal under the power of attorney, as well as family members, to really discuss their wishes and desires.
Yes.
So, you can sit down with your family and really tell them, well, this is who I want to handle this part of my estate, or, this is who I would want to, inherit this from my estate. So it's really a good time to have a dialogue with your family members and put out there what your intentions are. And it always goes back to Lady D having that control over what happens to you and your estate, right? Who else is better to say what I want to happen with my estate, or who I want to handle my estate or inherit my estate other than you?
Absolutely. Interesting, because whenever we think about death, as you said, it sends, we're fearful. It's all about fearing the ultimate. It's just that we don't want to accept it. But it is important because for someone who was raised in a rural parish, I grew up seeing a lot of squabblings among family members over property and a person not leaving a will, all those kinds of things. And it has broken family relationships. People are, just disgruntled, and they have not been able to mend the fence. So I'm hoping that there are persons who are listening, and if you'd like to call, we have just a few minutes to go, but if you'd like to call and ask Ms. Samuels a question about the power of attorney, you may do so by calling us here in the studio, 914-600-4228, 914-600-4228. And for those of you who are not within the United States, this same telephone line is also a Skype line. So you can call that same number, 914-600-4228. Ask her your questions. You have concerns. Because there are times when persons, Sheila, they might be thinking, oh, if I call her for a consultation, it might be so expensive. But it might just be a very simple question that you're able to answer while we're doing the program.
Absolutely. And, certainly they can post to the Facebook page, and I'm sure you can read some of their questions as well. So we're hoping that persons are becoming more
sensitive to the need of getting their power of attorney done. A lot of us don't have any. We hadn't even thought of it. We only think it's maybe just when a crisis situation pops up.
I completely agree. I was speaking with a client just this evening before I got on the call with you, and she said to me, you know what, I don't want to do the power of attorney again. And I said, why not? And she said, I don't want to give someone that much control over my affairs. And I said to her, okay, I can understand your hesitation, but I said to her, now is a good time for you to think about who could you trust to that extent to handle your affairs. Because I explained to her, just like I mentioned before to your listening audience, that if we don't have a comprehensive power of attorney, and by comprehensive, I mean we like broad powers of attorney, because as you age, your needs are going to change. And we want, again, that flexibility so that we can do the long-term care planning, which may include applying for public benefits so that, our principal can access the best care possible, and choosing the correct care providers. And so if we don't do that, then what happens is the court now has to become involved, because a guardianship proceeding has to be brought. And guardianships are never fun because it takes time and it takes money. And so I would say to people, a much less expensive option is having a comprehensive power of attorney done. It's not going to be expensive at all. And again, it gives you an opportunity to select who you would want to oversee your affairs. The other part of it is just it provides peace of mind for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just think about it, that, you know, it's the start of a new year, and you can have your estate plan created
mm-hmm.
and know that, you know what, I've taken care of this part. Mm-hmm. And I can check this off my list now, and you'll just feel so much better. You'll breathe a sigh of relief, actually,
yes.
knowing that you have taken the steps to create this plan, and your healthcare proxy, a will, or a trust. You have taken the steps to have control over your affairs and say who you want to handle them.
Yes, and it's less stress for everybody else.
Absolutely. You really can avoid a lot of
yes.
family disputes. There may be some initial, uncomfortability
mm-hmm.
with the discussion, one child, or, if you don't have children, maybe it's a sibling that you are looking to, maybe, your siblings are a little upset because you haven't selected them.
Yes.
But in the end, again, you get to have a choice, and hopefully it will alleviate that tension
mm-hmm.
later on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Vital information, Sheila. Would you please go ahead and give them your contact information? And by the way, she has an office here in Mount Vernon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So again, our Mount Vernon office is located at 11 West Prospect Avenue, and that's the 3rd floor. And again, we're right across from City Hall as well as the police department. Mm-hmm. And we also have an office in northern New Jersey in Hackensack. Our telephone number is 914-368-7680. And you can also visit us on the web at www.SheilaSamuelsLaw.com.
Wonderful. Now, we will be back on the first Thursday in the month of February to our listening and viewing audience. If you have a question that you would like to ask, you may email it to insidethezone@gmail.com. insidethezone@gmail.com, or you can send me a note in my Facebook Messenger. That's Lady D Denise Gomez, and send a note to me, and I will pass it on to Miss Samuels, and she will address it when next we air Planning with Sheila. I just like that, Sheila. It's very catchy. Planning with Sheila.
Thank you. Thank
Planning
you so
with
much.
Sheila. So I am going to bless you and say thank you so much for joining us here on the platform Inside the Zone with Lady D Denise Gomez. And I'm wishing you all the best within your family and your business, Sheila. And all things work together for good, right? To them that love the Lord.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Lady D. And thank you again to your audience. Everyone have a great evening.
All right. Blessings to you.
Take care.
Oh, take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a wrap for another feature in Planning with Sheila Samuels. And we're looking forward to having her join us the first Thursday in the month of February 2019. Get your questions together. Send them to me, insidethezone@gmail.com. Send me your messages. I'll pass them on to her. And then we can have a more interactive program. The objective of the program is for her to present the information and for you to ask the questions. So if you have questions, you're uncertain about a lot of things, then I implore you to call, because when I'm posting on the Facebook, I put the contact information for you to call us. More so, I'm repeating it right throughout the segment, 914-600-4228. Gotta run 5 minutes and counting to wrapping up the show. Blessings, everybody.